No K-Dot tonight. There's somewhat of a competition at tight end, so we'll get to talk about that later. But, of course, they're going to hand the ball off to Bucky Irving off to the right side and 4 or 5 yards. Let's talk about Bucky real quick. Bucky had a little bit of a down year last year. There's a second handoff to Bucky Irving off to the right side and gets his first down. Here's back. There's a screen. It's Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson coaches a guy much like Ted Johnson last year for the Bucs. There is one question about the Kansas City Chiefs going into this season. It is their offensive line. When Mahomes comes back, they will need to have that figured out. Pass quick off to the right, and Jacob Parrish with the quick tackle. Jacob Parrish. Side settle for Kenny Gainwell. Oh, this is a tackle into the flat, but look, the Kansas City Chiefs coach, they're in a transition phase right now.
Is lining up over the right guard, number 99. They're expecting him to play opposite Chris Jones. Yeah.
I think that was an incomplete pass, but
you said it earlier, Rondé.
Mercado is the running back again in the backfield here, Coach. Bucs have changed out most of their defensive starters and got their second unit in. Yeah, Creed Humphrey is the only holdover, the one that you can count on. Pro Bowl last year. Down and distance, brought to you by Advent Health Hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Quick completion.
There's your guy, Wisdom, Rondé. Shot Wisdom, number 38.
Chiefs had 0 first downs going into that play, and that's their first run of the day. Out to DeMarcado in the flat. 1st and 10 again. Got a good look here. Bucs having to deal with this running game of Kansas City, and much like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think that is going to be the game plan. Chiefs go 3 up top, tight end at the bottom. Great pressure.
Boy, Anthony Nelson got off, and he beat the rookie right tackle with ease.
Add another guy to the rotation here. Barely even touched him.
That's length. Long arms. He's got a huge wingspan. And top.
Uriza back to kick again to Cam Johnson. Got plenty of room back inside the 5-yard line. I don't know if you're supposed to take it in there, but he does. He makes a guy miss and he gets to the edge. There's Cam Johnson that we know.
Yeah.
That's the guy you love. Great blitz pick up by Williams on the side. And here's Jake Browning. The one thing that he is not very good at, I would say, is scrambling out of the pocket.
Last year, he really struggled in Cincinnati. They went to Joe Flacco. This is an important series for Browning, and look out. There's a former first-rounder.
Felix and Duque Uzama. I know this kid as well. He trains here in Tampa in the offseason. He's had a bit of a disappointment. He's been 10 of 15 last week against the New York Jets, and he showed some dynamicism. There's a way to say that word. Dynamicism getting out of the pocket. He shows it again there, scrambling to his left and throwing a dart.
That's a good throw. Good eye manipulation by Fields.
Justin Fields under center. 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 1 receiver. Stretch run out to the right, or to the left, I'm sorry, and
that's Emmett Johnson. That's the guy that's been the story in Kansas City in a lot of people's minds. The youngster, 5th-round pick out of Nebraska.
Spread formation, 2-by-2. That was well executed. Crossing route, Andrew Armstrong. Haven't seen a lot of pressures. They come out in a condensed formation here, and they're going to throw the football. Justin Fields looking for that throwback. Very good design throw and catch to the Jason Brownlee. Another huge receiver, 6'3", 202 pounds. Well executed motion by Barry Stool again. Quick drop by Justin Fields, and here we go.
That's a good break and drive by Garnes. You got to read the 3-step.
All you want to do is beat up receivers, although the Bucs are going to play off on this 3rd and 10. 3 receivers to the top. Justin Fields, immediate pressure again, and this is where you get worried about number 6 for Kansas City. He can always do that.
Well, you got to do something. You either got to blitz and take away a gap, or you got to mush the rush or stunt the front, but you cannot rush straight up the field again.
Here we go, 3rd and 7. Fields drops back, looking to his left. Nothing here. Here's where you got to keep him in the pocket because he only wants to scramble.
That's good defense by Tampa Bay. Sorry for sounding like Gene Deckerhoff, but I love that. They make a mistake earlier. They let Fields out of there. He got the first down, but Todd Bowles and his defense make the correction. They contain Fields, and now they make this a very...
Just like John Gruden. Buckner with the kick. We're on the board, 3-0. The Bucs will have the ball coming back. We'll see if Jake Browning comes back onto the field. Does so much for this organization outside of the X's and O's and the business operations of this team. Cam Johnson back to receive here. Sean Tucker is the lead out front, and Cam Johnson gets out to the 30-yard line.
And a lot of people think Sean Tucker has that third job in the bag. Not so fast.
Here is Williams.
You know, but Williams had 1,500 yards at LSU.
Jake Browning back into the game, was evaluated for concussion. Williams into the backfield still, and here we go. Screen to Williams. Blockers out front. A couple of good cuts, which he does very well. And look at that leg drive, Coach.
I like him, man. Good patience. On a screen pass, you have to have patience. Let the offensive line get their blocks. I called it phasing. There's the kick out. There's the lead. And it's a nice job finishing for additional yardage. But this kid can catch it.
Oh, here we go. Josh Williams in the backfield again. Quick screen out to Patterson. 2-by-2 formation. Browning's back. At Bauer to the flat. He's going to have to try to escape here. Does a good job finding Josh Williams in the flat. Made something out of nothing there. And Jake Browning showing he does have a little escapability in his repertoire as well.
Out of the shotgun, there's a snap, handoff. Johnson kind of scoots his way through the right side of the line, runs into the second level of the defense where he's wrapped up and taken to the ground for a gain of about 4.
And you got to be impressed with the Bucs defense when they've been down here in the red zone. He drills it. Nice little draw through the middle of the uprights. Bucs are going to be down 6-0 when they come back. Sean Tucker moves over to the left. Browning another quick throw. He is hit right away. That ball is out. Beanbag down. And Sean Tucker thankfully back onto this football, or that was going to be a takeaway by this Chiefs defense. And this is the second time that Browning has just gotten rocked in a drop back. Blitzer 21, Jaden Hicks, who's had a great camp for the Kansas City Chiefs, comes in unscathed, and he put the running back in a tough choice. I think it'll be interesting to see how this offense uses this tight end. He's going to block it and get out, and that's probably where Browning's going to try to find his football, or he's going to run. And timeout. Get the timeout, get back into a much more manageable third. Target snap, and they're trying to draw him off. Trying to get the ball to Bauer sharp there, but once that pocket broke down, Jake Browning doesn't snap hold, and he drilled it. He got this, I think. He absolutely got this. 69 yards. Are you kidding me, Coach? Preseason game, it doesn't matter. And, Coach, this cleared with at least 5 or 6 yards.
That's why I don't like the new rule. You can't cover the center. You can't overload.
Oh, look at him.
You can't really rush these kicks like we used to, and some of these long-range guys are bombing heels shortly.
Cam Johnson, Sean Tucker again back to receive. A little fumble on the initial touch, but here's Sean Tucker out to the 32-yard line. There is 2 flags on the play. You kind of already know what that's going to be. Josh Williams again is your back.
There we go.
Half roll.
That's a good play.
Cameron Johnson, who has shown up in the return game and as a receiver here today with the big sliding catch and a nice completion by Jake Browning.
Good fake, eliminated the underneath coverage. The linebacker.
If I can find a nice word to say. Got 2 receivers, bunch tight, top and bottom. Browning has plenty of time. Great protection up front. Nowhere to go with this football. And Here's the difference, right? We talked about the escapability of a Jalen Daniels, who we might see coming up soon, and a Browning who has to take that sack. Bucks look like they're in single high defense. You know that Todd Bowles likes to jump out, and this is actually coming forward now. And another near interception, that time by Demarion Williams, who was inside playing that nickel position. One thing that Todd Bowles does is he cross-trains a lot of his players to play different positions.
Those are three of my favorite memories against Andy Reid. How's
Those
that?
are anti-Andy Reid moments. We get Jalen Daniels in the game.
There we go.
To Sean Tucker. And I think this game might take a little bit of a different tone with number 10 in the football game.
The pocket running to his right. He throws a strike.
And they were originally going to challenge this, but upstairs viewed this, saw Patterson get that. You can just feel it, Coach, that this offense has already opened up. And here's the run, the design run to Jalen Daniels off to the right, 10 yards first down. Tampa Bay. They are in 12 personnel, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and a running back. And here's where you want to see number 10 out on the rope. Those are
That's a great throw.
To O'Keefe.
That's what you need. That's a great job. We needed some excitement, and Jalen Daniels gives it to us. They run a bootleg to his right. Really a well-covered play by the Chief defense, and he throws a bullet into a tight window, and there's your guy Keith for the touchdown. But a great job.
Is not known as a receiving tight end, but has to go down low, and wow, what a catch. Ball does not hit the ground. He traps it, though. Smith for all the objections.
But so also they wouldn't ask anybody. So for us to be able to move forward, it's all about us, how we're getting better, and how we're going to be ready for week 1.
I love that your focus is just on football. And our Super Bowl year, 2002, long-ass time ago now, he said he didn't run a shotgun snap in that season. What's your thoughts on under center, shotgun? You like them both equally? That one better? Easy touchdown. Emmett Johnson again.
Also one-back power play, and Tampa Bay is outflanked.
Kenny Smith had him in Pittsburgh as well as a tryout guy in camp. Up there. Out there.
Well, the Clemson Tigers know who he is. That's the leading kicker in the history of that program.
From Tampa, by the way, Sickles High School. There's Pat Mahomes off his ACL injury from a year ago. Oh, great defensive stop there.
It's a nice finish by Melifonwu, veteran safety man who we talked about. Signed not long ago. Look at number 3.
Ludekin also played 3 seasons at University of South Florida. Go Bulls. Oh,
there we go.
Tips, overthrows. Perotti with the fortuitous bounce. Bucks get another takeaway on the preseason. They had 2 last week at the Jets. They have their first of the night here against Kansas City. And you hate it for the quarterback because that ball was placed perfectly to the tight end on the inside. Jalen Daniels snuck for a touchdown. Not doing it. Handing that ball off to Sean Tucker. Touchdown.
Great job by Tampa Bay, switching up the tempo, jumping in a no-huddle on the goal line, and they fooled Kansas City. And guess who has the lead? Jalen Daniels and the Buccaneers. Well, you go for 2 here, Rondé.
First lead of the day, and yes, if you're talking situational football, you go to 2. Great job. Quick set. Nothing there. Nowhere to go with the ball. Sack.
I believe Danny Smith and Todd Bowles let Tucker know we need to see something on special teams.
Rashard Smith.
Look out, this guy can run.
Yes, he can. Versus 11 personnel, 1 tight end, wide open in the middle of the field. He's running a screen. Look at big number 90 trying to come in. Ball's out. Butker again with the field goal at tip. 43, he's made from 45, 58, and 69. He also had the missed extra point.
How about that?
He missed another one. Tenured general manager in football right now. It seems crazy that it's gone that long.
Big 3rd down, cross dog blitz. That's a great throw by Daniels.
And almost a great catch. There is a flag on the field. I thought it was a mouthpiece. That is a flag on the field, and it is going to be pass interference on Kansas City. But talk about this throw, Coach.
Well, here comes the blitz.
Again, I've been doing this for 14 years. This is the most unique broadcast I've ever been a part of. I can't thank you enough, Coach.
Thank you, brother.
We got plenty more. We got to wrap to the top of the hour, so y'all better stick with us.